Hello everybody, how y'all doing today? I know I haven't been on here in a while, and I'm going to kind of break away from some of the stuff I was talking about because I've been thinking about a lot of things about our young adults, and I think it's going to have to do a little bit with self-esteem as well as pride. And I've noticed I've worked at three different retail companies over the past few years, and even worked before then uh, in different places where we have young adults working. And I kind of realized something, and it's kind of got me wondering about some things. Like I say, I think a lot of it has to do with self-esteem, but I've been wondering why our young adults don't take any pride in themselves or pride in their jobs. And now, don't get me wrong, I'm not talking about all young adults. I watch some YouTube videos and see young adults on there, and even a lot of the older people, and they take a lot of pride in what they're doing, and I think that is awesome. Uh, and especially with the young adults that's doing it, and some of the teenagers that's doing it, and they take a lot of pride in what they're doing. Oh, by the way, hope you like my haircut. My wife did it for me, and I think it's wonderful. Uh, Looks really good. But anyway, getting back to what I'm talking about is, on a daily basis, I see young adults, and they don't seem to have any. And as you notice, I have no notes today. Uh, I've seen young adults, and they don't seem to have any kind of pride in themselves. Definitely no pride in their job. Uh, a lot of the young adults just coming up, they apply for a job. They say they want a job. When they get the job, they think they're just supposed to show up and get a paycheck. The ones that do actually perform duties, they don't do them very well. And, it makes it harder on everybody else. And I'm wondering why they don't take enough pride in themselves and enough pride in their job to do a good job. The thing is, even if you don't really care for the job that you have, and you're doing it just temporarily, don't plan to be there more than maybe 6 months or a year or whatever, uh, you should really take a lot of pride in your work. You should do the best possible job that you can do, because if you're looking at thinking that you're going to be there just temporarily, uh, you know, when you find the job that you're looking for and that employer calls to check up how you did on your previous job, uh, if you're not doing a very good job, that's going to reflect when they call. Uh, that's going to make it much tougher for you to try to get that job that you're looking to get. If you plan to make a career, say like in retail, if you plan to make a career in retail, you really have to take a lot of pride in your work, okay? Because this reflects off onto guests or customers, whatever you want to call the public, that general public that come in to purchase stuff. Uh, and another way you can tell a person doesn't have pride in their job is when somebody comes in, when a guest or a customer comes in and asks you where a particular product is, and you point, oh, it's over there. Okay. Most retails, most retail stores are huge places. So if somebody asks you where something is, and you point over toward the corner of a building somewhere, or back to the back of a building somewhere, and tell them, oh, it's back there, or it's over there, or it's over there. Okay, that over there could be anywhere. All right, so they have to go fend for themselves, uh, just like you would have to do if you go into a store and a person tells you, "Oh, it's over there." You got to go look for it. You spend a lot of time, you waste a lot of time looking for it. You just take the person to it. Okay, just take the person to what they're looking for. That saves them a lot of time. You look good. You look as if you have a lot of pride in your job. You look as if you have a lot of pride in yourself. Okay, and it makes it you look like you care. The other thing is, like, excuse me, I needed a drink. Like if you're stocking shelves and stuff, you know, uh, make sure it looks good. Put stuff in the right places. Put sales labels in the right places, uh, so there's less confusion for the guests. Uh, otherwise, other employees have to walk back and check and move the sales labels and stuff like that. Make sure the product's in the right place, uh, so it's not put in a place where price is lower than the price of the product that you ended up putting there. Uh, Make sure the price is not higher than the product you ended up putting there, because that causes a lot of confusion with the general public. Okay? When you come to work, have enough respect in yourself, uh, and enough pride in yourself to do whatever you see needs done. If something needs cleaning, clean it up. You know, for one thing, this looks good. Okay, it looks good on you. Your boss shows you a lot more respect because it looks like you care for your job. Okay, uh, and it helps the customers think about, well, this is a clean store. Uh, their products are going to be good. You do good customer service. Everybody hates bad customer service. I hate bad customer service. If I come into a place and I ask where something is and somebody points to it, I ask them, because I've been in retail for a few years, and I ask them. I say to them, I say, that's not very good customer service. You telling me it's over there. Now I got to go spend an hour looking over there. Why'd I even ask you? Why are you here working? You know, uh, and I see this from young people a lot. Now, don't get me wrong. I do see some older people pull this same stunt. Okay, it's because they don't have no pride in themselves. They don't have no pride in their job, uh, which leads me to believe that in most of these cases, you're looking at a low self-esteem in a person. Okay, uh, you want a paycheck? That's fine. You want a paycheck? You're going to get a paycheck. But if you want to get increases in that pay, then you really need to put forth an effort. Come to work planning on doing your job, planning on doing the best job you possibly can. That leads to pay raises, that leads to promotion, that leads to respect from your fellow employees, co-workers, I should say. Uh, that leads to respect from your boss, whether it be a manager, supervisor, foreman, whatever. Uh, and you feel better about yourself because you know that when you came to work, you did the best possible job you could do, and things look good. Okay, you you get a job to make a living, okay? So don't come to work every day and figure out reasons why you can leave, why you have to leave early, okay? So that makes your attendance low, which is not good on a resume or whenever a prospective new employer calls to check on you, uh, because whoever is leading whatever company you're working for is going to look at that attendance record, and they're going to tell your prospective employer, well, this person was always leaving early for whatever reason, so we had to let him go, let him or her go. Uh, excuse me again. This person just didn't do that good of a job. Has They have no pride in what they do. Uh, they didn't do a good job, so we let them go. They didn't like the fact that I had to constantly keep telling them that they had to do, that they needed to do this, that, or the other and get it done, so had to let them go. This is what companies are going to tell your prospective employer if you left that job or got fired from that job, uh, and you went and put in for another job. These are the type of things that these companies are going to tell your prospective employers. So I guess what I'm trying to say here is, come on, people, you're young. You guys are going to be running this country one day, you know. So you need to take pride in yourself. You need to take pride in your work. You need to do the best possible job you can do. Like I say, even if the job that you take in your mind is just a temporary job, because a lot of times, believe it or not, that job that you take as a temporary job, a lot of times you're going to end up being there 2 or 3 years, even though you don't think you are. Okay? You're going to want respect. If you want respect, you're going to have to give it. You're going to want praise. If you want praise, you're going to have to do a good job. You're going to have to go sometimes above and beyond, okay, on the job. So I think a lot of people should look at some of these younger uh, YouTube creators and uh, get a clue from them. See how much pride they take in some of these videos they shoot. Uh, see how confident they are in themselves. See how much respect they give themselves. See what the drive is that they produce, to produce good videos. It's, I don't know, this is something that drives me crazy, and I've noticed this over the past, I don't know, probably about the past 25 to 30 years, that with the younger people, everything seems to be going downhill. Okay, uh, this type thing, if continued, if you have a lot of young people working for you, this type thing could lead to a very, very severe low drop of company revenue, because people say, well, this company has an attitude. They hire these people that don't care, don't want to do anything for you and stuff like that. And so they start looking for another company to start doing business with. Okay? Uh, I know if you get sick and you have to go home, that's fine. Don't look for other reasons to go home. That's crazy, because you're putting a burden on your coworkers, a big, huge burden on your coworkers. Uh, your bosses are not happy, and that tends to cause a boss to want to ride you, okay? Uh, or they just get mad and say, okay, they don't care enough about their job, I'll fire them. All right? I'm just, it's got a lot to do with self esteem. You know, a lot of people need to start raising their self esteem. A lot of these young people, especially. Uh, I'm not sure why they have such a low self esteem of themselves, a lot of them, uh, but they tend to. They tend to think that they just don't seem to know how to do a good job. And maybe because they've been told constantly that no matter what it is they're doing, that they're not doing a good job. And so that puts them in a position to start lowering their self-esteem. Okay? Uh, there's a lot of us older people out there who work hard to try to help young people build that self-esteem. That work hard trying to help younger people, uh, to learn to do a good job. You know, a lot of us older people try to help young people understand ways to do a good job and to make the job easier. All right. So, like I say, it's got a lot to do with self-esteem. Some people think it's just laziness, pure laziness. Uh, some people, when you hire them on, they come in, they think they're just supposed to show up and get a paycheck, and that's that. Uh, and that's all they want to do. And in this day and age, that is not going to work anymore. Uh, what else was it I was wanting to say? Have some self-respect. Take some pride in yourself. Build that self-esteem up. Build that self-esteem up. Have some self-respect. Have some self-pride, and take pride in the job you're doing. You know, in any business, anytime you're dealing with folks from the outside, uh, you need to show them respect. If you have no respect for yourself, you can't show them any respect. And like I say, that's going to go over. That's going to go, the customer is going to see that. Uh, Anybody outside of any business that comes into the business for help for anything is going to see whether or not, is going to be able to tell within the first few minutes whether or not you have any self-respect, which means if you don't have self-respect, you don't have respect for them. So you're not going to get respect back from them, okay? A lot of times working is not an easy thing to do. You have to sacrifice a lot for 8 hours a day, you know, or 4 hours a day, however often you're working. So it's not easy. Okay, you got kids, you're going to miss a lot of what's going on with your kids unless they're in school during the time you're working. If you're working at night, you're going to sacrifice being with your spouse or your boyfriend or whatever. You're going to miss some parties and stuff like that, whatever. Uh, and that's what you have to gear yourself up for. Okay? If you don't want to be there, don't be there. Period. Quit, go home, live the life of the homeless or whatever you want to do, but don't bring it into work. If you're supposed to be to work, be there. If you have a really good reason why you can't be there, that's fine. But think about your coworkers. Because anyone who doesn't show up for work or anyone who's leaving all the time from work early, uh, like I say, they put a big burden on their coworkers. Their co-workers get more stressed because they have to try to carry the load, and that reflects onto the general public whenever they come in, whether it be retail, uh, even bookkeeping, stuff like that. No matter what it is you're doing, anytime you're dealing with general public, which is most all jobs, then that's going to project through. So I'm just saying, if you don't want the job, don't be there. Quit, go home, whatever. Uh, gain some self-respect. Gain some self-respect. Respect others around you. Gain some self-pride. Show pride in your work. And do your work and be there when you're supposed to be there. I think that's the gist of everything. If you can't do that, then you need to figure out why. Okay? You need to figure out why. Because 9 chances out of 10, like I said before, it's probably because you have a low self-esteem of yourself, and you need to work at building that. I know a youngster's life is not easy nowadays. There's a lot of parents working 2 jobs and stuff like that, so it makes it hard on kids growing up because their parents aren't around. They get, they start hanging with people that are bad influences. They're doing drugs and drinking and stuff like that. And it's just that I just like to see an improvement in people. I mean, I rarely miss a day of work. I rarely miss a day of work. I am rarely late for work. And I don't go home early unless there's an emergency and I have to go. That's the way I perform. That's the way I see a lot of older people perform. Okay? I do see a few young people perform that way as well. They show up a little bit early, so they're ready to go the minute they punch that clock. They take their lunches when they're supposed to. They work their whole shift, unless they have to go home or unless something comes up and the boss says you can go ahead and go on home now and make up the time later on or something like that. So that's my point in this video. I probably sound like I'm upset because I do get upset when I see this type of thing. Just take a little pride in yourself, okay? Have a little self-respect. Raise that self-esteem. Do a good job. You do a good job, everybody's happy. You're happy, your bosses are happy, the general public that you come in contact with are pretty happy because your happiness projects onto them. They can be having a bad day, like in retail. They can be a guest or a customer that comes in the store can be having a bad day. But if you have a lot of self-respect and a fairly high self-esteem, you're smiling and being nice to people, that person that came in there that's having that bad day, it relaxes them. It makes them feel better. Your energy is projecting onto them, so it makes them feel better. Okay? And if it is in retail, they come in and see a nice clean store, everything's organized and stuff like that. You walk them to whatever it is they're looking for. It makes them feel good. So if they're having a bad day, now they're not having such a bad day anymore. Okay? Some customers that come in, some customers or guests that come in, or general public that come into whatever business, If you're having a bad day and they come in there and they're smiling, having a good old time, a lot of times that will project over onto you and lighten your day, make you feel better. Unless you just have a bad attitude. And if you just have a bad attitude, you shouldn't be there. So anyway, I think I griped enough on this one here. I'll get some more videos up here pretty soon. But for now, I got a lot to get done today. So I'm going to say bye-bye. Have a great day.